these kind of folds are more in the types of things you see in more of the Renaissance drapery. Okay, so we'll take a look at this compared to, the folds of her top and then the folds of her skirt. So that we'll compare those two and try to contrast them a little bit too. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to kind of establish the type of folds up on top, from her top. Just as I want to get a contrast between the type of folds on the top and the type of folds in this long flowing Thank you. Thank you. It got real crazy in here. It'd take a lot of time to get in here. I only got the large shapes in here. These folds up here, like they'd follow the form, and then they'd wrap around, right? Or something would kind of wrap around and then come around and then peel off the form and then pull back in. So they were a little bit more rounder, or they were smaller curves, right? They'd react a little bit more like this. Even the our arm here, on our arm here, the sleeve would come down and then wrap up and then come up here. I mean, her elbow was down in here. Let's see. Let me finish that off like that. And then her hand came in here like that. So you have a little bit of this kind of movement, but down here, it's these long, broad, sweeping curves and shadows, that came across here because these are broad, pieces of material. And from her knee in here, I have those a little bit high, might come in here like that and off of here like that, where they just kind of go to her knee like that. This. And then there was like a lot of contour or contrasting angles in here, that would fold in here and then come around like that. Down in here, you get this kind of broad, open, big, sweeping folds coming in here, kind of like a more starched kind of a fabric, and then it would lay flat on the ground like that. Okay, so that's kind of the difference. It's just kind of the attitude of the curves and arcs. These are all following the forms here, where these are only pulled by this, these major areas like right here, right here, and right here. And they just hang large, in large, big, simple shapes. The folds, once they got in here and gathered, there was a lot of sweeping edges or folds that came back, from her leading leg right there, and as the fabric came back like this. We see a lot of this kind of a thing. And then sweeping back and then following it through even down in here. If I'm storyboarding, if I'm I'll be at a smaller frame, right? Say if I'm storyboarding something and say person is sitting, I'll do the same kind of a pose there. Let's just say it's something like this. What I would tend to do is I'll look for the large, simple areas. Like maybe this is a knee, that's a knee. And then if the material hangs down from there, then I might look at something like this. Fabric was rolling over there. I'd pull from where her wrist is and hanging down, something like that. I'll look at the general silhouette shapes, and if there's certain character to the shapes, I'm going to draw the nature of those shapes. Just like a tree or anything else. What I may end up doing is I'll end up drawing the character of the tree. And I think, if you call it the spirit of the tree or the nature of it, because if you see the natural rhythms in it, those are the things that really tell you more about it. That's what gives it attitude. You can do mannequins, and say, okay, this is my storyboard. If I was doing a live action storyboards, I'd do mannequins. I don't really worry about the character or the expression on something. So with something like this, I'll even put a frame. And sometimes, it really helps sometimes to put a frame to me in kind of the proportion, because I can see there's some strong angles here. And if I almost kind of draw a bag around the model, just to get the silhouette, then I can get the nature of that. You see how this is squared a little more, this is round a little bit more, and then I get a sweep up kind of like that. So now I can get this kind of a broad shape, and I can be fairly close in here. So now I can look at how this is going to get pull off of here, like that, the outside of it. The inside of that fold at its origin up there is going to get dark. And then another tight one in there. And then there's a series of a few of them in there. Okay. And these are all going to come down into this area where it's going to turn. Turns. I'm going to get this kind of general shape. See where that goes, and that comes right off of here. That's going to tell me there's this subtle fold there. And then this comes out this way. Fold goes over the top. Comes out again over here. just kind of following it up like this and pulling around, going around the top up here. I see the major fold in there. And then this is like real subtle. Like we were talking about in the composition class, I might look at even a tonal range, just two values in here, giving me a little difference, something like that. Just a little suggestion might just be enough. So look for the big, simple shapes in there. This, I realize, comes down a little bit more. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes I should be doing more often is doing this. What happens is when you close this in a little bit, then you're looking at your positive shape and your negative shape, and you can get your proportions a little bit better, that kind of a thing. Whereas if you're just drawing on an open piece of paper, you can kind of ramble and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but if you have a boundary, then you're going to be working this to this, the positive and the negative, and in shapes like this to round here, long this way, and then small folds here. So you play one against the other.